Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Do you want more success, more growth, more results? Then it's time for the Boundless Success Accelerator from the Modern Observer Group. This isn't your average coaching program. It's where top performers come to dominate. Weekly group sessions, on-demand coaching, a community that's got your back, and a power-packed library of tools to supercharge your business and career. No more excuses, no more waiting. Get in, level up, and start building the life you've been dreaming about. Visit us at modernobserver.com/boundlesssuccess to join today. Let's get you to the next level. Hello, and welcome to the Success Showcase, the podcast that helps you succeed in your business, career, and life. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin from the Modern Observer Group, and with me as always is Chip Janiszewski from the Happiness and Success GPS. Chip, how you doing this week?
Doing great. How about you, Eric?
I'm doing excellent. You know, it's a great week. It's a very spiritual week. We have Good Friday and Easter Sunday coming up. We're in the middle of Passover. There's a lot of good vibes going around because of all of this. And I think it's important, we talk about purpose this week because let's face it, that's what fuels us. That's what fuels faith.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so important that drives everything. And by purpose, what we mean is basically why you are here, how you are going to contribute to humanity, which in turn, we've talked a lot about giving and receiving in the circle. This is all about what you're going to be giving. And it's so important. And yeah, I just started Holy Week, and there's a lot of other people that are doing different things. And one of the biggest messages of Jesus, his main purpose was just to share his joy. And that's really what life is all about. And, if your purpose can head towards that and share your joy with other people and make them joyful, it's going to come back around to you. But, a lot of it, it's just so important to work on yourself. In fact, as a lot of you folks know out there, I talk about my 4 Ps, and the first one is purpose. And then you got passion, positivity, and a plan, and they're all related. So this is, it's a great way, especially to start, as you say, this season of the year.
It is. And I'm going to toss another P into that mix, because when you're following your purpose and when you understand what it is and you're moved by it, it's not only going to bring you more success, but it actually helps your performance. You're actually doing better when you understand what your passion is, what your purpose is, and act on it. In fact, there have been numerous cases of athletes, famous actors, even, executives and academics who have suffered burnout and overcame burnout by focusing on their purpose. That's how important it is. It's not just about what it can bring you. It's about what it makes you. And it affects every part of you, your health, your wealth, your family, your relationships. It's all tied into your purpose because your purpose makes it better.
Yeah. I mean, increased productivity, collaboration, creativity, resilience, that's all there. And once you find it, it's fantastic. But the one thing that you do have to watch out for is once you find it and you're working on it so long, you have to take time out to enjoy what you're accomplishing with that personally and for other people out there too. Because if you don't, your performance is going to go down if your purpose, no matter how powerful it was when you began it, just becomes a day-to-day routine that you're just going through and through and through. And this is where, as you mentioned, people run into the burnout and so on and so forth. So a big part of that is to make sure that it's front of mind all the time and it's right in front of you. If your purpose or your mission statement is in front of you all the time, to just get you back into the present moment as to why you're here in the first place, as opposed to, okay, I'm an athlete, I got to get up and work out for 3 hours this morning. It's so important to put things into my 5th P, which is purpose, passion, positivity, and plan, which is perspective. And that's the way that you look at things. So obviously performance is a huge part of it.
And perspective is so important because you can change your perspective without changing your purpose. And that's actually how a lot of folks have gotten past burnout and avoided burnout in the first place. For example, athletes that have been training and training, it's very easy for an athlete to burn out when they don't perform well. If they, miss out, if a runner misses out on a time that they were aiming at, if you, lose a competition, it's very easy to get into burnout. But there have been numerous athletes who have recovered from burnout because they focused on their purpose of the sport. But instead of playing the sport,
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
They started volunteering to coach high school sports and junior high school sports. And that rekindled the passion in that purpose and actually rejuvenated them. So you can look at your purpose from different perspectives, and it's good to do so because that keeps you fresh and that helps keep you from burnout.
Yeah, and it also keeps you on an even keel. I mean, we had a fantastic example yesterday. Rory McIlroy, the golfer, became the 6th golfer ever in the history of golf, the first since Tiger Woods to win the career Grand Slam, which is the Masters tournament, the U.S. Open, the PGA, and the British Open. And he won the first 3, within 2 years, 11 years ago. And the one that he did not have was the Masters. 3 years after he won those, or even within a year or two, he was leading going into the final round of the Masters, went to the 10th hole and knocked the ball out of bounds. This weekend, he started out with 2 double bogeys on the back 9. After really shooting lights out for the front 9, he ended up with even par. He shot lights out on Friday in the second round, so he went into Saturday with the lead. He went into Sunday with the lead. And he went into Saturday a couple shots back, and he had the lead by Sunday. He went in the very first hole yesterday. He's playing with the guy Bryson DeChambeau, who's 1 shot behind him. And on the very first hole, he double bogeys the hole, and Bryson DeChambeau pars it. And he's behind after 2 holes. So basically, over the years, there have been so many times, and he talked about this afterwards, what the 11, 12, 13 years and the maturity in his life and just keeping at it meant to him. And basically, his performance is really a function of what his perspective was, and really taking a look at the pluses and minuses and not letting the bad stuff get to you so much. And the same thing happened to him on the back 9 yesterday. He hit 2 of the most awesome shots to get ahead and then to win the golf tournament after playing safe on 1 hole and not get 20 yards to the right into the water and getting another bogey where he should have got a birdie. So, I mean, he had the ups and downs like a yo-yo yesterday. It was like a heartbeat. And putting that whole thing in perspective at the end of it is just so important. So obviously, finding the power of your purpose and performance, it all goes back to that present moment. And once you have found that purpose and you know that that's your purpose and you're working it well and doing well with it, if you can get back to the present moment and put things into perspective, you literally can pick yourself up from almost anything and accomplish things like he did yesterday. It was just a wonderful, wonderful example. And whether you're into golf or not, I would highly recommend going to YouTube or something like that and just watching an interview with him after he did that, because he goes through the whole last 13 years, 15 years of his life from his early 20s into what he's now, which is his mid 30s. So it's pretty neat. And the nice thing about it is you can pick this up at any point in time and start working on it right now.
It is, and that's a great example of something else. And it's a very common mistake that people make when they talk about performance. Performance is not perfection. You can perform well and not do everything perfectly. Yesterday's,
Exhibit
Masters
A.
was Exhibit A.
Yeah.
Obviously, he had problems going in. He did not perform perfectly, and yet he was able to get his performance high enough to take the Masters. And in terms of the Grand Slam, I believe it's been approximately 25 years since anybody has won all four.
Yeah, Tiger Woods was the last one to accomplish the career Grand Slam, and it was 2000. It was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And he did it really quick, though. I mean, he was the anomaly. For Rory, it was the longest distance between number 3 and number 4, I think, of anybody except maybe for Ben Hogan or somebody. So, but it just shows persistence is so important.
Yes, imagine if he had decided 2 years ago, you know what? I'm not going to win the Masters. I'm not going to get the Grand Slam. I'm just going to retire now. And he would have missed out on it.
Yeah.
But he was able to focus on his purpose. And, let's be clear about something. Purpose is not the same as goals. Those are two very different things. Goals are what you're trying to achieve. A purpose is who you are at your core. And that's actually how you start to find what your purpose is. And there's a lot of folks who go, "Oh, I'm waiting to find my purpose." You don't find your purpose by waiting. It's an active search that you have to do. And it starts by identifying what your core values are. So I recommend you start, there's so many core values to choose from: authenticity, self-awareness, courage, learning, mindfulness, spirituality, love, empathy. The list goes on and on. Find 10 to 15 of these that really speak to you and write them down. And writing it down is important because you're never going to remember. There are so many that it's hard to remember all of them. But once you've got 10 to 15 of them or so written down, take a good look at that list and then narrow it down to what you think your top 5 are that describe who you are at your core.
Yeah. Again, it all starts in the mirror. It's self-analysis. And yes, you have to write these things down. What are your values? They are so important. Other things that will help you identify things is looking for patterns in your life, looking for themes in your life. What are you good at? What do you like to do the most? Interests and things like that. If you just write these all down on a sheet of paper and start looking at them. And another good thing to do, if you're married or in relationships with other people or have good friends and whatever, it's probably a great idea to get together with a couple of people and maybe share them with each other. Because oftentimes something that you are brilliant at, you just take for granted because it's you, and other people look at you and say, wow, this is an amazing trait that you have. Don't you realize that? And so getting other people's input from this, because the bottom line is we are all here. Again, we all came from loving kindness. And when we get together in a circle like that, that's where it pours out. And if we're working together to help each other, it's so important to do that. And magic does happen when that happens. Obviously, you've been in work environments and so on and so forth where you've seen ups and downs. You've probably worked for people that help you with that. You've worked for other people that basically only care about the person there. And maybe you've helped other people turn around from point B, like I just talked about, negative, to finding them themselves just by being yourself. And by being yourself with your purpose, you are going to influence others to want to do that too.
And the advantage to doing this in a group is perspective. Other people have a very different perspective on who you are. And you may think you're one way, but if everybody else sees you another, that's something you need to consider. Maybe you're putting out these vibes unconsciously, or maybe you have talents that you haven't thought about. Getting that additional perspective is a fantastic tool for helping you find your purpose. And when you're talking to folks and when you've figured out all of these core values, once you've narrowed it down, you have to ask yourself a couple of questions regarding them. Things like, why is this important to me? You know, do I really live that value, or am I just paying it lip service? Yeah, and if I'm not living it fully, how can I? What changes can I make to really internalize this? Questions like that help you figure out which is really you and which is the aspirational you. And you need to figure out who you are before you can get to who you can be.
Yeah, absolutely. And a big part of it too, which we've talked about before, is you're working on your personal development. I know you read a lot. I listen to Audible a lot, and it's so important because you are going to find things the more that you do that and work on yourself. So having a personal development practice daily where you're working on that is so important.
Absolutely. Part of what makes purpose so powerful is that it's something that you're always doing. You have to internalize that. It has to be an integral part of you. And that's why it's so useful to have a purpose statement written down somewhere where you can see it on a regular basis.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Because sometimes, we have knee-jerk reactions, and those knee-jerk reactions are not necessarily in line with our purpose. You'll need to remind yourself to step back and focus on that purpose rather than just reacting. We've talked about, responding versus reacting over and over again. Well, when you're responding with purpose. When you're reacting, you're just reacting. So if you want to focus on purpose and boost that performance, you have to understand your purpose. It has to be part of you. And sometimes that means reminding yourself about it over and over again.
Yeah, it's so important. We talk a lot about developing mission statements, and basically the mission statement is a function of your purpose. You just talked about reacting versus responding. Responding is the action. Reactions, those are the thoughts that are going through your head all the time, and you're always going to be up and down. And the more that you can learn to control those things, look at them from a positive perspective before you respond to things, that's what the whole key is. But as far as a mission statement, you will develop that by finding your purpose in the first place. And obviously, it may change over the years. I mean, in my stage, it's just to help people find their passion and purpose and then develop a positive mindset and a plan for achieving it. And for most people, your purpose is in some way to give value in certain different ways, using your talents, using your values, and that kind of thing. So it's really, really important. And if you have that statement with you all the time, have it in front of you, or just have it in your pocket all the time that you can just go to it every single day so that you're reinforcing that, so that when your brain starts going the other way, you have that going for you. It's kind of like a trigger, an automatic trigger. If then, so important to do that. So again, start with the writing things down, do your homework, put together a statement, work with other people to kind of help each other figure it out. And it's a really fun process to do.
It is. But the statement isn't the end point. Once you have that statement, if it's just something you write down and then never look at again or don't do anything with, it's not really your purpose. To fulfill your purpose, you have to take action. Execution is everything. So you have to ask yourself, what daily habits can I build to stay aligned with that purpose? What decisions or changes could bring you closer to living that purpose fully? And once you figure out what actions you can take, you actually have to take them. And not just once, you have to take these actions on a regular basis. That's part of building your purpose, because the more you do it, it's like muscle memory. It simply becomes part of you, and ultimately you'll do it automatically. But it shows that your purpose is more than just lip service. If you're taking action, you're not just sitting back and going, oh, yes, that's who I am. Oh, it doesn't matter what I'm actually doing. That's who I really am. Well, no, you are really what you're doing. People are judged by their actions. They can say anything, but it's their actions that really show who they are. So if your actions don't reflect your purpose, maybe that's not your purpose and you need to take another shot at it.
Yeah. I mean, actions is really, that's what leads to your performance. All the actions that you do is how your performance is looked at. So if you're looking at it from a positive perspective and striving for positive actions, that's what it's all about.
Right. And, part of that purpose is, what is it going to do for you? But another part of that purpose is, how can you share that purpose with others? I mentioned earlier, there were numerous athletes that burnt out after having a bad performance, and they rekindled that purpose by sharing it with students. You can teach, you can guide others. When we're focused on the effect of our purpose on ourselves, that tends to lead to more burnout. It's when you share it with others and you're not thinking about yourself that you start to rejuvenate from that burnout. And let's face it, burnout is a very serious problem. It's talked about so often that people sort of poo-poo it now. But burnout can be damaging to your health, both physically and mentally. And it can damage the people around you. It can damage your relationships. It can tank your business if you're a business owner and not performing well. So you do need to rely on that purpose to help you recover from burnouts. Now, most of us have actually gone through a phase of burnout at least once in our lives. We push too hard, and that's it. We don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to work out anymore. I just want to lay on the couch. Well, it's the purpose that gets you back off the couch. It's that passion for the purpose that you can use to push you forward when your body and mind just want to go, all right, you know what? I've had it. But you can't keep doing the same thing. If you keep doing the same thing, you'll keep getting the same, which in that case is more burnout. You have to find different ways to serve your purpose. This way, you're giving and getting different perspectives. You're doing different things and exploring different ways to explore your passion and purpose and help others with it. And that's going to rekindle that passion of your purpose.
Yeah. And one of the best ways to do that, which I talk about all the time as far as developing and maintaining a positive mindset, is a practice of gratitude. And a practice of gratitude is nothing more than basically looking at the positive in every situation in your life, number one. But number two, journaling it every single day, writing something down that you are grateful for. Could be something that you've accomplished. But once you start writing these things down and you go back to that and you start contributing to that every single day in a positive sense, and you look at it every single morning and every single night, that is the best way, as far as I'm concerned, to validate what you're doing, number one, and avoid the burnout. Because you can see just by writing that down, if you're having the worst day of your life and whatever, you're going to go back and read that and you're going to realize, all right, I still have a little bit of that flame left. It needs a little bit more gas right now. And that's what a gratitude journal can do for you, and just a practice of that. So again, you can just go outside and just take a nice nature walk. Today is beautiful out. 2 days ago, we had snow on the ground here, good old Connecticut. But just appreciate everything that's around you, because the bottom line is we are all one. We are all created together, and everything out there we are part of. And the more that you appreciate that and everybody out there for who they are, and the person in that mirror and everything that you've done for those people, not out of arrogance, but out of the kindness of your heart, that's what's so, so, so important. And it's okay to do that. A lot of people, they can't accept actually patting themselves on the back. But when it comes from pure heart and soul and unconditional love for doing what you're doing, that's not arrogance. And that's something that you need to do. And it's something that you need to feel good about for yourself. So the gratitude journal is one of the best ways to do that, to just write that down so you can actually trace how you were feeling on these certain days when you were doing this and that, and get yourself back on track. I mean, it's not a catch-all, it's not a magic wand, but it sure is a wonderful tool.
It is. Another way that you can refuel yourself is to look at your purpose in a different way. If you're an athlete, rather than pushing yourself to compete, watch other people's compete. Watch the sport that you participate in, not critically, not looking for who's doing what, but just enjoying the game. If you're a writer, read more. And again, put the critic aside and just enjoy the reading. Whatever it is you do, you can enjoy the act of other people doing it. And that very often helps refuel you. So, yes, it's your purpose. You want to be doing it, but you can step back from it and enjoy the purpose as other people see it, as other people do it. It's not always about you. And if you can enjoy other people involved in your purpose and see what they're doing and see the joy it's bringing them or the talent that they bring to it, and just appreciate it. Again, getting back to gratitude, appreciation is a part of that. And if you can appreciate what other people are doing, that's going to fuel you to, wow, look at what I've got to try that. I've got to do more of that. And it's another way to refuel. And you do need to refuel regularly. If you keep going without a rest, that's another recipe for burnout. So take that step back and just enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, one of the things that you can do while you're looking for it for yourself is go out there and reinforce that for other people too. If you look for reasons to go out and compliment people, instead of criticizing people, it's human nature to look for something and say, okay, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. That all comes from our insecurities. But if you look for and reinforce the good things that other people are doing by just walking up to them with an unsolicited compliment or a pat on the back and this and that, whatever, you just made their day and you just made yours too. So that's part of the practice of gratitude also, is just appreciating the goodness and the gratitude of everybody else out there too. That's what it's all about. And it's very, very simple to do. However, it's also very, very hard to do if you don't have the right perspective. So it's your choice, present moment.
It is. So again, we've been talking about your purpose, and finding it again starts with self-exploration. Define what your core values are. Define what you're most interested in. Define what your passions are and where your talents lie. I mean, your purpose really comes down to what you want to do, where your talents lie, and who you can serve. So if you find your purpose is going to be at the crossroads of those three items, and that can be through teaching, through performing, through helping others. There are loads of ways you can fulfill that purpose. But define your core values and then look, what are you good at? What interests you? And who can you help by doing it? And the intersection of all of that becomes your purpose. So we are just about at the end of our time. So, Chip, what do you think is the big takeaway for today?
Well, values is the first thing that we talked about. Whenever I start networking meetings and I tell people what they're all about, it's all about developing relationships. And when I tell people that their goal is to walk out with appointments to start getting to know people because it's all about relationships, I talk about three different things. The first thing is, what is your value added? It's not what your products and services is. It's how you make people feel comfortable, how you make people feel better. Number two, what's your ask? Now, when it comes to finding your purpose, it's how do you want to serve somebody? How do you want to add value to somebody? So that is so, so important. And then number three is taking action on it. So in networking meeting is setting up an appointment. But number three, in what we're talking about today, is that P called performance.
Absolutely. I think for me, the big takeaway is the effect that knowing and acting on your purpose has on you. It boosts your health physically and mentally. It boosts your performance. It helps you get more done and accomplish more. And it does help you to reach for higher goals and achieve them. So when you understand your purpose and you act on it, the benefits are tremendous. And it's not necessarily easy to define your purpose. It's going to take some effort, but it is well worth that effort because the benefits far outweigh the work you're putting into it. So go out, define your purpose, figure out how you can act on it, and go do it. You will benefit tremendously. You've been listening to the Success Showcase. You can catch every episode at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and wherever you find podcasts. Remember, make this your best week ever and make next week even better. We'll see you then.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No